big one tonight. Welcome back to episode 2 of Kickdown. Now you may be wondering what's coming up tonight. Well, here's your top headlines. New route to the airport as the 777 hits the road for the first time. A legacy brand returns as Super Shuttle comes back to the X66. Daniel Graham leaves Go North East after 9 years. The Elite Bus Driver Training Campaign has been launched. First have agreed to buy York Pullman. It's the end of the L94 if 5210 is withdrawn. And any extras that you may need to know about. Up first tonight, a special report on a brand new Arriva bus route. Yep, it's the 777. The brand new bus route runs from Kingston Park to Morpeth via Newcastle Airport, Ponteland and Kirkley Hall on mornings and evenings. And I was on one of the first services from Morpeth, and this is what this little report is going to show you now.
Morpeth Bus Station, 28th of January, 9:30 AM. Now, why would I be here at this time? Well, it's to try a brand new bus route which 1575 will be taking me on. This is the 777, a brand new Arriva Northumbria bus route. Now, this bus route is interesting because it serves Newcastle Airport, something a bus service hasn't done for a couple of years. Now, the thing about a bus route from the airport to Morpeth means that it's incredibly scenic. Most of the journey was just me sat there with my mouth wide open, looking at all of the fields and stuff that we went past. And that was 1513, the other bus running the 777 that day. The route was incredibly fast. I thought it would take a lot longer than it did. Now, how was its usage? Other than me and a couple of people that were riding the 777, there was one other person who got on in Morpeth to test out the route. Then she would report back to her local community with all of the information. She asked me a couple of questions such as why the bus turned right into Ponteland Estate. And then, the bit you've all been waiting for, a bus service into Newcastle Airport. The bus heads around the perimeter of the car parks much like what the Metro replacement does and parks at the exact same stop. Then after the airport, another direct run down to Kingston Park through Woolsington and along Tudor Way, where you can meet the X47. And that is the 777. There are a couple of journeys that stop at Kirkley Hall College for a school run, and there are great connections to every other mode of transport such as the Metro, other buses and of course, planes. So then I had a bit of breakfast in Kingston Park and waited for 1513 to get back, and then took that back up to the airport. I might just add that 1513 or a Pulsar will be the allocation. The 777 certainly attracted some enthusiasts, with one of them even doing a tiny route view. And then we were back at the airport where I left the 777 for the day. So whilst it might not have got a lot of usage on its first day, I reckon it's a route that definitely has a lot of potential.
Now, from a new route to a slightly older brand. Now, you might remember last time I was talking about electric buses for the X66 and that 5491 was painted into a multicolour livery, which I said was supposedly for the X66. Well, I was right. That multicolour livery is just behind me now, and it is Super Shuttle, the brand new Metro Centre Shuttle X66 brand. I say brand new, however, it's sort of a nod to the old Go-Ahead Gateshead times. Go North East have stepped out of their comfort zone a little bit with Super Shuttle. As you can notice, it's not road stripe. That's the big giveaway, that they've moved on slightly from road stripe. And the livery is a nod to a livery that was worn on other buses for the X66 back in 1997. Now, something that might come as a bit of a surprise to quite a lot of you. After 9 years at Go North East, Daniel Graham is leaving. Dan Graham was a commercial manager at Go North East for quite a few years. But now he's handed in his resignation. His last day was the other day, and it's currently unclear where he's going to go. And sticking with Go North East, their brand new driver training campaign has been launched. The Elite Bus Driver Training Academy had its big launch event at the North East Land, Sea and Air Museum in Usworth the other day, and it made national news. This comes after a long period of strikes where drivers were striking over pay and conditions. However, now, I have checked the Elite Bus Driver website, they are now earning up to £14.50 an hour once they are fully in the job. The campaign is going very well with 6 branded buses, lots of adverts appearing all over the place. Here's some that I found in Bensham and also on Clayton Street in Newcastle. and hopefully a new TV advert, which is certainly interesting. I'd recommend you search that up after this video. Now, something a little bit more interesting. First Group have agreed to buy York Pullman. The fleet of over 130 vehicles will now be operated by First Group, and it's hoped that this acquisition will allow First Group to expand in North Yorkshire. Now, you may remember the farewell event about 5 years ago now actually. Whoa, time flies, doesn't it? But J&E have now fully got rid of Scania L94s from their fleet. 5210, which lasted in the driver training fleet until the other day, has now been withdrawn, which means that there are no more Scania L94s left in the Northeast with Go Northeast. However, there are still a couple at independent companies. Who knows what will happen to them. A couple of other little extra things before we move on to the fleet movements. Go Northeast's new timetable style has been released for a plethora of services, including the X20, the 57, the Vultra routes, the 20 as well. That's an interesting one which I think you should look into. Vultras are now being allowed onto other routes. I did ride one on the 49, which felt weird to say the least. And the Tyne-Wear Metro Class 555s have been delayed once again. Nexus are now saying they hope to get the first train into service by the end of 2024. Alright, it's time for your fleet movements. Again, I'm getting this off bus times and off what I've heard from other people, including Facebook groups. So this might not be 100% accurate, but we'll get there. So, recent fleet movements from the first week between episode 1 and now. 5410 NK15 EOA has transferred from Deptford to Consett. 6163 has transferred from Percymaid to Washington. 6185 has transferred from Washington to Consett. 6214 has transferred from Consett to Washington. 6219 has transferred from Consett to Riverside. 8327 has transferred from Washington to Riverside alongside 8328 for the 49, 49A, 57 and 96. 709, the little mini solo at Hexham Depot, WK58EAJ has been reinstated. It's currently unsure what it's going to go on yet, but I have my speculations, but because this is an unbiased news show, I'm not going to say anything. 5202 and 5210 have been withdrawn alongside 5236, 5257, 5260 and 5262. They were all driver training vehicles, so we haven't lost any from service there. Speaking of driver training, the following streetlights have entered training. Get comfortable. 5511, 5512, 5513, 5514, 5515, 5516, 5517, 5518, 5519, 5520 and 5521. They're the ex-First South Yorkshire buses which didn't move to Deptford and went straight to Riverside for driver training. 6126 has been reinstated and 6129 has been withdrawn. I don't know why. 6189 has entered service at Consett again after its repaint from Go North West livery alongside 6190. 6968, 6969 and 6971 will no longer enter service at Go North East. They're now permanently at South Yorkshire, but don't worry, we are still getting 3 Olympuses from Go South Coast, the first of which to come up here is 6976 LX58 CXP. We're also getting 2 new Volvo B90L Wright Gemini 2 open toppers from the Oxford Bus Company. The first one has arrived, which is 6996 LIG 9116, or as it was formerly known, LX60 DXC. It's been repainted into a yellow and blue base livery, obviously for Toon Tour. All of the Blue X-Lines buses, 6308 to 6314, have now transferred to Deptford for the X-Lines X20, and 6362 and 6363 have moved to Riverside for the X21. Those buses are currently being debranded. The X21 buses will stay green, and the ones that have moved to Deptford will be repainted pink when there's enough room for them. For Arriva Northumbria, 1479 has moved from Arriva North East to, I'm guessing, Ashington Depot for the 777. 11203, this is for Borders buses by the way, it has now become a training bus in Berwick and has moved from West Coast Motors to Borders buses. At East Yorkshire, 791 BP15 OLE has got a new coaster livery which looks spot on. Only one change for Stagecoach North East, 19386 is currently at Wheatsheaf awaiting repaint. And that's it for Kickdown this week. I'm going to set up a form actually if you want to submit your own news or own fleet changes, and I'll post that in my community section in the coming days. Thanks so much for watching, I hope you really enjoyed that special. work so hard on it. But I hope to see you all next time, which will be another 2 weeks. Yeah, I'll see you later. Goodbye.